Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We're going to roll on with a couple more case studies. And Adam has a client who had what I would call maybe a little bit of a misstep in that did well, everything for peak week. I think I'll let you tell the story. Adam was fine, but then on contest day may have gone a little bit overboard. So tell us what happened.
Yeah, so my client had had a really good prejudging round. We knew that he was winning his class. There was just nobody even close to him. But, you know, at bodybuilding shows, you scope out other competitors, and we knew who he would be going up against, and the overall would be a very, very tight match. He actually had two meals back-to-back during between prejudging and finals, and it was clearly just too much food. So when I met him backstage, I could tell that we were a little spilled over. We needed some time to kind of pump up and dissipate down into some tightness. But however, when you pump up, you can actually make your spillover worse to some degree because you can start getting glycogen leaving the muscle tissue. So I wanted to make sure, one, that we timed this pump up and made sure it wasn't too long, but two, make sure it was aggressive enough to get his temperature up, get his heart rate up, and get him working through some of that food. So I had him pump up for maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And then most importantly, I had him lay down just to relax afterwards for a little bit. When he got back up, we were still just a little not as tight as I would have liked, so we started using sodium to start pulling in more of that glucose into the muscle tissue. As he was posing backstage, I could see him dipping right back into that conditioning we had from the morning. You could tell his stomach was a little fuller, I think just from the sheer volume of food he had. But when they announced his name as the overall winner, he won by 1 point. They said it was a 1-point decision. And that's where I say things like this just really matter when shows are that close.
Yeah, I have definitely had clients say, whether they think they're in the running or not, you know, screw it, it's over now, prejudging is done, I'm just going to eat what I want. And I've seen them almost create a binge-like, you know, post-prejudging meal. And absolutely right. Number one, your best friend, even if you just go over a little bit, I mean, maybe it wasn't that bad, but your best friend is just time. So you really need to plan on not eating for hours. Let your body get used to this. And I completely agree. You know, something a lot of people would miss that you brought up, Adam, is there's a balance between how much exercise and activity you want to do to try and assimilate that newly eaten glucose, but also just laying down and relaxing and letting your body go through the digestive process. You know, the parasympathetic nervous system needs some downtime to digest that. And then, as we've always talked about, it gives your lymphatic system a chance to reabsorb some of that, fluid that's not inside the cells. So really good point to walk that fine line. I have seen coaches actually, if they feel like a person is a little bit spilled over or they've had a little bit too much food, you know, literally go to the gym. I want you to go after the prejudging, you know, go to the gym now and do a good solid 30-minute or so workout, then come home and rest. So yeah, a lot of things to pay attention to at that point, but I think you did a really good job of mitigating that.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was happy in the end result, that's for sure.
Yeah, so sometimes I think the most important thing, if you have overeaten and you see spillover, a lot of people don't know what spillover is like. If you have a really fast metabolism, you just don't really experience that. But those of us who do, you know, it just looks like you gained 3% body fat. I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh, where did my abs go? And so you have to have confidence knowing that, you know, how much food you really consumed was probably not that much, hopefully, if that's the case. And just give yourself enough time and just plan on potentially not eating until you, or with the help of your coach, you decide that, you know, we're okay now, we're back on track.
Yeah. And I think, you know, the fact that, you know, when I give him those directions, I think he knew just with my confidence that he would dip back into looking better, which lowers stress for him, which I just think makes things way easier.
You know, one final thing you did really well there is if you had a larger meal like that, you had to have some increased sodium. And so you can get into a cycle where you may be spilling over a little bit, but that sodium also, as you said, helps draw fluid into the muscle. So then as that is decreasing, you can start experiencing some flatness. So once you've gone all in with that increase in sodium, even inadvertently, you've got to watch for that flatness coming back and then be ready to increase sodium again. So you've almost pushed yourself into a higher need for sodium, and there's a ceiling. I mean, you're not going to do that for days and days, but on contest day with a couple meals, a few hours to go, you definitely made the right call. Otherwise, he could have looked a little bit spilled over, but also a little bit flat.
Yeah, it was amazing to see just how slowly his body was kind of just, uptaking that fluid. And you just know that's the magic of sodium.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up in the next couple of episodes. So if you want a little bit more help with some case studies, just to make sure that you can think through this process, then stay tuned, and we'll see you next time in Contest Prep U.